Good evening. Thank you for coming here tonight, and I hope that today you'll be able to learn something from what I speak about today. Today we are here to speak about the death penalty and whether or not it should be abolished. J.R.R. Tolkien once said, "Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them? Then do not be eager to deal out death in judgment." When most people think of the death penalty, they usually think of the big capital crime cases where the lawyers are up shouting at the witnesses, like out of a big TV show. But when I think about it, I think about the families of those who are innocent and lost their lives to lethal injection from a case that was corrupt and was not legit. I hope that after this, you will both be informed and see how the death penalty needs to be abolished. So why is there a problem? The problem is that we see people who lose their loved ones to a corrupt system. And what I hope is that through me speaking to a generation who does not know enough about the death penalty will be more on my side and see why the death penalty needs to be abolished. And during this speech, we will cover 2 points on why death penalty should be abolished. 1, it's a political tool for political bosses to use. And 2, it's too much money to spend. So there are also some things you need to know before we get started. A capital crime is any crime that is punishable by death through the death penalty. And the life sentence is a punishment for a felon and imprisonment for life, and it is very difficult to get a parole for a crime worthy of this type of sentence. And the death penalty itself is a punishment of execution, usually through lethal injection. And to someone who committed a capital crime, and death row itself is a prison block or section for prisoners sentenced to this punishment. Another thing that you need to know is that there are 2,557 inmates on death row, at least out of October 2020. So there could be more now. My first point is that the death penalty is a political tool. Bryan Stevenson, lawyer who has worked many death penalty cases, there's a movie called Just Mercy, Michael B. Jordan portrays him. So if you saw that movie, then you know who he is. He said, "The death penalty is not about whether people deserve to die for the crimes they commit. The real question of capital punishment in this country is, do we deserve to kill?" Stevenson's quote shows how political agendas are entwined. If a virus has become political, then there's no question that the death penalty itself can become political, and it already has. Political bosses use the death penalty and have for their own political agendas, and that is a major problem. George Bush used it in his presidential campaign in 1988. His whole campaign was founded on the death penalty, based on his side. A man's life should not be a political agenda. Whether or not he deserves the death penalty is completely out of the question. It should not be an agenda for someone to use. My second point is that the death penalty process costs too much money compared to the life sentence. In the state of Kansas, it costs $500,000 just for a trial, compared to $120,000, which itself is a lot of money, but we're talking like $380,000 or so, saving money for that. And according to the Nevada State Archives, it costs $90,000 per year just to hold a death row inmate, and that itself is a lot. I'm not sure how much it is for a life sentence inmate, but if we compare the numbers to the state of Kansas for the trials, then it's definitely less. So if you multiply the 2,557 inmates by 90,000 to get the per year, you get $230 million, 130,000, so 230,130,000. That is just to hold them, and that doesn't even mention the trial cost. So it would be another 500,000 added to that for one person. That is money that we do not even have. We are in our country is in a lot of debt, and we need to save money in ways that we can. We need to use the option of life without parole. Today we have covered 2 reasons of why the death penalty should be abolished, and use 2 reasons why. The death penalty is a political tool, and it costs too much money. I hope that through today, you can see why the death penalty should be abolished, and you can be more informed. And I challenge you to push yourselves and to do more research than I have given you, so that you can form your own opinion and see whether or not that you believe the death penalty should be abolished or not.